Welcome to the start of our next unit. This one is on decimals, fractions, and percents. And our first lesson is on going back and forth between decimals and fractions. Go ahead and get your notes page set up. We've got our title up here, Decimals and Fractions, our learning standard, 6RP3, and then our I can statement. I can convert between decimals and fractions.
Give them the bad news.
Just the heads up, you may not use a calculator for anything this unit. You got to show all your work in simplifying your fractions and doing your long division. Everything has to be shown out. No calculators at all. We were nice last unit. We're not going to be nice this one.
All right. Writing decimals as fractions. Before you begin, we really need to look at that place value chart in the middle of the screen. Go ahead and press pause as you write those down in your notes. You need the words as well as the place value on top and where that red decimal point is.
The whole thing.
All right. Our steps are pretty clear. We're going to say the decimal in word form because it tells you how to write it as a fraction. So in our first example, we have 6/10, 6 going in the 10th column. So as a fraction, that turns into 6/10. That's our base, and we need to go ahead and simplify it before we can report our answer. So 6 and 10 both have a factor of 2. So 6 divided by 2 gives us a numerator of 3, and 10 divided by 2 gives us a denominator of 5. Sorry.
All right. Try our next one. This one's a little bigger. So we have 0.375. So as I write it underneath of my place value chart to kind of help, we always say the name based on the last decimal place in it. So this is in the thousandths place. So I can say 375 thousandths. So to write as a fraction, we write 375 over 1,000. Saying it in words talks you right through it.
How are you going to simplify, Mr. McKenzie?
Well, these all look like money, so think of it like $3.75, $10. I know I can divide them by 25 each.
Try not to do 5. It'll take forever.
So 25 goes into 375 15 times. It goes into 1,000 40 times.
Still a common factor on your board, dude.
So 15 and 40 can both be divided a little bit farther. Can divide them both by 5. And we get 3/8 as our simplified fraction. Much better than 375 over 1,000.
All right, we have a mixed number, so we do need to remember that the decimal point in between the 4 and the 28 means and, so it's 4 and 28 hundredths.
So 4 and...
4 is going to be our whole number. 28 over 100 is going to be our fraction. That last word being hundredths gives us the denominator of our fraction. We need to look at 28 and 100 and see what common factors they have so we can simplify. We're going to go with 4. 28 divided by 4 is going to leave us with 7. 100 divided by 4 is 25. And don't forget the whole number of 4 that needs to carry through your work.
So the whole number just hangs out and we simplify the fraction part.
All right.
Now we're going to go back the other direction. Now, instead of going from decimals to fractions, we're going to go from fractions back to decimals. So stop, write down our first method here. We're going to write each fraction as a fraction with a 10, 100, or 1,000 as a denominator. When you're ready, we'll go ahead and try the first one. So, can we turn a 4 into a 10?
Nope.
Unfortunately, no. So then we go to our next one, 100. Can I turn a 4 into a 100? Well, I can by multiplying times 25. I had to say it quick before Mrs. King said it.
I was going to say, yep.
So then I got to do the same thing to numerator. You got to treat both of them as the same. 3 times 25 is 75. So 3/4 is the same thing as 75 hundredths. As we say it in words, it tells us how to write our decimal. 75 ending in the hundredths place.
And if you need to go back to that place value chart, keep it out. All right. Second problem, we've got 7/20. 20 is obviously bigger than 10, so that's not going to be our choice. So 100 is our next option, and 20 does go into 100. 20, 40, 60, 80, 100 is 5 times. So you're going to multiply top and bottom by 5 and get 35 as your numerator. 35 hundredths is the same thing we were just talking about in our first example. So our decimal, therefore, is going to be 0.35 or 35 hundredths.
That's the easy way. Now we get the little uglier way. Not every fraction, not every denominator is going to turn nicely into a 10, 100, or 1,000. Sometimes we're going to have to do it the old-fashioned way, which is long division. So go ahead, jot down this second method, and we're going to do this example together. No, you can't use a calculator. A good way to remember how to set up these problems is the phrase NIDO, N-I-D-O. The numerator is on the inside, denominator is on the outside. So make sure to jot that in your notes as well. But then we're basically going to do a long division problem. We're going to do 7, numerator on the inside, divided by 8.
And if it's bigger than 1, you've set it up wrong.
So 8 goes into 7 0 times. So we have to add our decimal. Remember, once you add the decimal, you can add zeros at the end and keep dividing. 8 goes into 70 8 times, which is 64. Hopefully you remember your long division. 70 minus 64 is 6. So we got to add another 0, keep dividing. 8 goes into 67 times, which is 56. Subtract, we get a 4. Add another 0, bring it down. 8 goes into 45 times with 0 left over. So our decimal is 0.875, or 875 thousandths. Remember, numerator goes on the inside, add your decimal and your zeros. Denominator is what you're dividing by. That one goes out front.
And my general rule is if there's 4 numbers after the decimal and it's still not working out correctly, then you either have done something wrong, it should have repeated, or you can go ahead and leave it and we'll figure out the problem in class.
Have a good day.